I think this is an opportune time for the President to ask all members of Parliament to re-examine the salary and other perks that are presently being given to them, including the pension that is being given to them after 5 years. This is also an opportune time to ask the parties to put forward candidates based on meritocracy and free from bribery and corruption. Because, however good the strategy proposed by the reputed economists and experts, the people implementing the strategy should be people who have been selected based on meritocracy and honesty.
And that was a message that we received from a regular listener of NEWSLINE. Do you agree with the sentiment that he says, that the most important thing?
Yeah, I think this is a very good statement by viewers. That is, of course, the main issue at the moment is the find a solution to corona pandemic. And then the members of parliament who are elected to the parliament should be in a position to stick to the ethics of the parliamentarians and do their duty at their best.
Indeed.
That is, of course, parliamentarians are expected to
but they don't always
make laws, number one, then the financial control of the public finance of the country, public finance, and make policies.
Indeed.
These are the three main...
So you agree that when it comes to public finance, the authority is Parliament?
Yes.
Right. Now, Mr. Susil, bearing in mind that we have COVID-19, on the one side, let me ask you start by asking, do you believe in democracy?
Yes.
Right. So one of the fundamental sort of cornerstones of democracy is surely the ability to hold free and fair elections.
Yes.
So how do you have free and fair elections when the public are infused with a sense of fear because of this global COVID-19 pandemic declared by the WHO as such? So the public have a genuine and reasonable fear of this virus. One, on the other hand, because it's not so well understood, and the other hand, because not all the testing is going on, and they have concerns. In between this, one section of our legislative arm is saying, let's go for elections. How free and fair do you think that will be?
So it all depends on the circumstances, of course. We had some elections. I am not comparing that situation to present situation. That was in 1988 presidential election, and again after 3 months the parliamentary elections held in March 1989. During that period, of course, there were three kind of threats to the society. That is the then ruling party of the government's threat to the citizens, then the LTT terrorist threat, and on the other hand, unknown gunmen's threat.
Yes. So
with all these, of course, that we had two elections, that is presidential election, and after 3 months, the general election.
You couldn't really say that that was free and fair, because I remember during that time, we had some people who were elected to Parliament with 10 votes.
10 votes, 20 votes, like that, of course.
So that couldn't have been free and fair.
We don't want to have that same situation today.
Right.
And then after that 1988-89 era, of course, we have passed so many
what
situations.
Kind of information, Mr. Premajayanta, is you and the SLPP relying on when you all are asking the President to have elections, and the President in turn is telling the Elections Commissioner, it's up to you, and so on? What is the data that you're relying on?
No, the President has done his part. That is, of course...
No, that's not the question. The question is, what is the kind of research or information that you as a party is relying on to promote the cause of having elections, when most of the people that I've spoken to are saying, well, we don't want elections now. The president has a mandate. Let him carry on for 3 months or whatever it is.
No, I don't agree to that. That position, that is not the position of SLPP or any other political party. That is, it can be some individuals' positions.
Yeah.
But normally, the thing is, this is the first time that not only Sri Lankans, whole world is facing unusual situation because the coronavirus pandemic. So now the president has done his part, that is by using the constitutional provisions, dissolve the parliament and allow commission to go ahead with the...
At that time, Mr. Premjanta, surely we can agree that although there was some evidence, the evidence wasn't so crystal clear so as the president could have not, called for it. At that time, we can give him, look at it under wide-angle lens and say, the president wasn't fully aware, so he called it. But soon after that, this whole pandemic business was announced.
Yeah, but the thing is, this kind of pandemics you just can't expect. Now see, for an example, when the first Chinese lady was identified here way back, and then she was fully recovered, and she went home. Even during that time, there's a clue about the pandemic, this type of pandemic affected to Sri Lanka. But even the United States, the president of the United States said that time, of course, by summer, of course, this will be disappeared. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. But the thing is, even the WHO, they didn't say during that period, in latter part of last year and early part of this year, even January, they didn't expect this type of...
No, that's true. That's what I say. So that now that the president made that decision to dissolve parliament, which is his right, could he now not say, look, this is a bit too much. We need a few matters to be done in parliament, including an interim budget, to take into account the new expenditure that the government will clearly needs to fight this problem and the associated results of this problem, and thereafter let the president carry on until such time as it is indeed uncontestably possible to have free and fair elections.
Yeah. Now the thing is, now if we get this, now the sequence is president dissolved the parliament according to 71 of the
no argument about that.
Then 75 made the proclamation. Then soon after the election commissioner closed the nominations, then by that time by 11th of March, the first patient from Sri Lanka, we found him. Then the commission decided at that time on 19 that election date should be postponed. Then of course Commission of Elections took steps by 20th of April to fix a date on 20th June by using the section subsection 3 of the section 24 of the election law. Right. So now we are now at this stage. So now it is the duty of the commission to hold the election or to take any other steps with the vested powers of the commission. Right. So we as political parties, we don't have any duty to tell the commission or in public. So we can have the election by 20th or after 20th.
That's true. That's not your
remit. We are not there to tell that. So then we are waiting. The commission fix the date, and then commission will take steps to have a free and fair election. That's what even this morning when I was watching television, I saw the president of the commission, chairman of the commission said, so we are watching the situation, we are assessing the situation, and we will make our position very clear after assessing that. So that is why we are waiting for commission to fix they already fixed the date, 20th June. So it is up to the commission to decide after consulting the health authorities and security authorities whether they can have free and fair election by 20th of June.
Really, at the infected number, I just checked on, is now 622.
Yes.
And yes, the recoveries are also on the increase.
134.
But this is also going up, right? 134 there and 622 there. The average is only going up, it's not coming down. In between all this, I know it's nice to make plans, but really these plans, are you really going to violate the fundamental first human right of any man, and that is the right to life? Are you going to violate that?
You can't compromise the fundamental rights of the life with any other situation.
Everything else is nice.
Yeah, nice.
These are niceties.
Yeah. That is why the commission is empowered to decide on that, and the president can utilize the constitutional provisions and run the country until the election is held.
I know, Mr. Janta, that there will be some people who say that this parliament that has just been dissolved lost the moral right to govern, proven twice over. Once in the provincial council elections, when the government of the day was completely given a drubbing by a new party, just which we are now a member of, the SLPP, the new boys on the block, if you like, and a second time around with the election of President Nandasena Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Now, that's on the one side. You are, from your speak and all your delivery and so on, you all believe in parliamentary democracy.
Yes.
You all say that you all must have a parliament, it's important. In that case, why risk everything else because of pandemic? Why don't you now have, what's wrong with this parliament, just to get very specific things done? There appears to be ambiguity in between what the president says on the one side and the opposition on the other about the use of funds, for example.
No,
there's no unanimity in that.
No, on the other hand, of course, there's a simple question. So what is the use of reconvening the present parliament until the No, it is not necessary, because the president can use the article subsection 3 of the 150 and spend the money and draw money from consolidated funds and then utilize all these funds.
But the point is this: you seem to be saying we need a parliament, but we don't want this parliament, we want a new one.
No, I am not saying that, because this parliament, it is useless reconvening the same parliament now.
But why?
Why? What can parliament do with the corona pandemic?
They can vote for more money.
They are not specialists in the health sector.
They can vote for more money.
They can do research and they can find vaccine for that.
But already there is...
What they can do is, what they can say, so we will support to use funds. So funds, where we are getting funds? But you can't, we are not in a position to tax people, right? We can't collect tax collection.
But you let me just go into a break. We'll come back and you'll explain to me about the consolidated funds and the president's desire. On that note, we'll go for a short break. We'll be back on the other side of this one.
Yeah.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
Does your business belong to one of these marketing communication industries? The Market Research Society of Sri Lanka invites you to join a Marcom initiative to estimate the total value of the industry with the aim of engaging the government. WhatsApp 076 887 0757 to receive the registration link.
Newsfirst, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.
Welcome back to Newsline. I'm with Mr. Susil Premajanta, an iconic politician, previously from the SLFP, now from the SLPP. Now, you were telling me about the president's, the presidential ability to dip into the consolidated fund.
Yes.
But, for example, one of your colleagues in Parliament, Mr. Sumandaran, proffers the view that Parliament has not made provision that it is, sorry, Mr. Sumandran says that Parliament has made provision, even though it's a vote on account, that is tantamount to a provision having been made. So that doesn't mean that the President is given any right.
So then, shall I read the particular article?
Yes.
Article
153.
153, where the President dissolves Parliament before the appropriation bill for the financial year has passed into law, he may, unless Parliament shall have already made provision, authorize the issue from the consolidated fund and the expenditure of such sums as he may consider necessary for the public services until the expiry of a period of 3 months from the date on which the new Parliament is summoned to meet.
I think the key wording there is unless the Parliament may have made provision.
Yes.
May have. They have made provision.
They have made provision until the 30th of April.
Yes.
The vote on account, we passed
Finishes on the 30th of
30th.
April.
After 30th of April, the President can use this particular article and spend the money in the future.
Is he able to do capital expenditure or not?
Here it doesn't say it clearly, but normally it is the
For the public
dictation-
services?
It's clearly say public services until the expiry.
The
Public
reason I'm-
services.
the reason
It
I'm
doesn't
asking-
say recurrent or the capital.
Indeed. The reason I'm asking that is I'm referring to an article that was published in the last edition of the Sunday Times, in which they say that the Cabinet has already passed some monies. A project has been awarded to for Section 4 of the highway, and along with that Section 3 and so on. These are significant amounts of money.
Yeah, but at this juncture, of course, we are not talking about construction of highways and all that, of course.
But they have passed it in Cabinet.
Yeah, that is earlier, not now.
No, they've passed it last week.
Yeah, that is normally Cabinet papers they send, then they pass it. But to start all
But
these
surely,
projects, so
Mr.
you need money.
Yes,
but
of course
but
you
here,
need-
of course, but
you
here,
need
of
money
course,
for testing kits
yeah,
as well.
but here is, of course, for the public services. So public services means then you have to define the public
So it's a
services.
very wide angle.
Wide angle.
So
normally,
so you can spend money
you can
on,
what
on
you can do
roads.
is you can spend money to pay salaries, pay overtime, and then the purchasing of medicine, then the fuel and all that.
Does it include new roads?
No, I don't think because the thing is those are projects.
Yeah.
Those are projects. But here it means the
It's not
public.
project, yeah.
This is of course
This is
particularly
for salaries,
specifically it
pensions,
says public services, pensions, salaries, other allowances, and if you need to buy say some medical equipments, of course, then you can spend money for that, of course.
Is it fair to say? Is it fair to say that the spending that Cabinet, having taken its time to pass some unsolicited bids, proposals to from a couple of companies and so on to do Section 4 and Section 3, as much as we may well need it, we don't need it right now. Isn't it better to have spent this money to bring in testing kits from all over the world wherever you can buy them? Isn't that a better option?
Yes, yeah, that is the better option, and here it means this is the President, only the President is empowered to withdraw the money from consolidated fund by a warranty.
Yeah.
So that it will
But my
very
question,
clearly
Mr.
say that.
Premjant, is this: isn't it wrong, morally and otherwise, that in between having such a huge problem on our hands, like COVID-19, where the people are genuinely frightened and concerned, industries have shut down. Thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are looking darkly at the future because they have no money. 66% of our population, working population, is unskilled. And all of them need money. I don't think they want money spent on roads at the moment.
No, of course, it doesn't mean that the government is going to spend money for roads at this
But what
stage.
is the indecent hurry to pass these things
Oh,
at
that
Cabinet?
is of the noble, the earlier cabinet members, but I am not aware about that.
You're
But
not
what
now
I
in
can,
the cabinet?
No, what I can say is, here the President is empowered to run the public service, not to spend for special projects or anything.
Right.
And on the other hand, of course, this government, the president, by controlling,
Could you ask
by
the
controlling the COVID-19, so far, it's fortunate enough, Sri Lankans, and only 7 deaths reported. Compared to other
Of
countries
course,
in the
I
region.
quite agree with that.
Huh?
It's well,
Right. It's true
well,
that, as you
well
said, of course, because of last few days,
Yeah.
because of the unfortunate incident happened for
The naval
the
people
naval
and so
base, the Velisara. Then we found
See,
that
they're frontline people. They've put their lives at risk.
yes,
to
then
go and
we
detect
must
others.
appreciate their work and their
Of course.
families, family members, and all that, and we must strengthen them to recover as soon as possible. Other than that, of course, we have maintained and we have managed the situation up to that standard.
Right.
Even the WHO praised Sri Lanka.
Can you do Newsline a small little favor? Could you ask the president the next time you see him or talk to him, can you ask him why his members in his cabinet, it's his cabinet, why it is that they've put these little gundus, these projects. They shouldn't be doing it. It's wrong, wrong, and more wrong. We don't need highways to nowhere.
That is, of course, we don't know because it's cabinet papers.
No, I know that. That's
it is
why
not
I said,
public.
I said, but
somebody,
I'm sure
somebody can say that,
Yeah.
but we don't know whether it's true or not. But I am not supposed to ask that questions from the president. It is the.
You can say he was on a
no,
new-
no,
on-
it is
on a
completely.
program.
It is completely in the hands of executive, and I don't think even the caretaker government will pass that type of projects and all that. So their main concern is to control the COVID-19 and bring back the normalcy to the country and for the ordinary people as soon as possible.
I hope, Mr. Sushil Premadant, that as a politician and as somebody who's been so experienced in the politics, I know that your heart has been broken by how you were treated at the SLFP and so on, not only you, your other colleagues too, but I'm sure that all things will end up well. But first and foremost, I hope that you will join all of us, the people, everybody, to sort the COVID-19 problem
Yes, that is the
out,
priority.
and the economy along with that, and money to the people and so on, probably in that order.
Yeah.
And elections is far from the minds of most
Yes,
people.
of course. The first, number one, number two, that is controlling the COVID-19, and then the bring back the normalcy in the country.
Indeed.
And then, of course, if you fulfill those two, of course, then automatically you can have a free and fair election.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, and that's the way it was on Newsline. Remember, if you want to send us any questions, you can do that by WhatsApp or by SMS, if you like. 0772 300 305. We'll take it up on the next day. Thank you. Have a great night ahead of you. And of course, God bless.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.